I'm Lineke Lijn, and in this video we are going to demonstrate how to use the dry brush technique, and I will have an example of a drawing of a deadhead's hawk moth. That's the same bug they used in The Silence of the Lambs. Maybe you've seen it. And in this drawing you can see the difference between the drawing with a pencil and on the other side the drawing with the dry brush technique. The butterfly, or moth if you would like, is showing in the back of me, and I will show first what materials to use for this dry brush technique, and I will also show how to clean your brushes. So let's get started. For the dry brush technique, there really isn't not much material you need. But what you absolutely need is good paper. Make sure you have paper that is really soft, not like the paper you use for aquarelle, which is really rough. You need a paper which is really soft, so the oil will smoothly go on the paper and it's easy to work with the brush. So if you buy paper, make sure it's smooth, a bit hard. And what you also need, of course, are pencils, and those are to help you sketch out what you want to make. And what you also need, of course, is oil paint. Any kind will do, from cheap to expensive. You also have oil paint that's based on water. So it's kind of weird to say, but it's oil paint that will blend with water. But in this case I will use a simple oil paint. What else you will need is your brushes. And what I want to explain is that the brushes, it doesn't matter what kind you use, but you have to make sure that they really pop back. So they're kind of stiff and they pop back into place. For brighter, wider strokes you can use a wider brush. For the real fine lines you can use smaller brushes, pencils, and also you have flat pencils, rounded pencils. You can see it here. You have the broad ones, rounded ones, pencils who are kind of diagonal. Any kind will do, but please make sure that they pop right back into place when you move the hairs of the brush. They really need to pop back. What else to use is a piece of tissue. And what I tend to do is I fold it in 3, fold it in 2, then I take 2 holders, put them there, and I do this because I used to just lay it around and then I would get into it with my arm and it would hang off my arm, and that's not nice. So this makes it a little bit heavier, and then I can put down the paint and it sticks there. I lie it down and it stays in one place. So that's a really helpful tip. What else? Well, an eraser. Funny or not, you can when you dry brush with the oil paint, it's still a little bit erasable. So an eraser I also have handy. So let's start drawing. Drawing, I mean kind of painting, but it is drawing actually, because it's really little paint you use. Very, very little. I did a study from an insect. It's a butterfly, more of a moth actually, and it's the same insect they use on Silence of the Lambs. Maybe you've seen it. And they're fascinating animals, and the wings of the butterflies are always nice to start practicing in your eye brush or in your dry brush technique. So I will start demonstrating. I have my oil paint, I have my little piece of tissue. The drawing I did with simple pencils. And what you do is you apply a little bit of oil on the tissue. Just a little bit. And with one tube of this I could make maybe 1,000 drawings if I want. Because you really use very little paint. Take a pencil. I have some laying around, all kinds. Some are broader, some are little small, some are rounded. Don't be cheap on buying these pencils, because they really need to pop back. Otherwise the hairs will stand out, and that's not nice in your drawing. Then I apply a little bit of oil paint on my pencil, and then just smear it out. So you have just a little bit of oil paint on the hairs of the brush. And then we start applying it. And what you can see here is on the left side is the ones I did with the pencils. And here on the right side I will be doing it in the dry brush technique. And the oil paint. Just softly brush and follow the sketch you made. And as you can see, as I'm going, I do not need to refill often. This little bit of paint really stretches far. Really nice technique, also for leaves, flowers, clouds, and it works much quicker because you have a very wide range with these hairs. It's much broader than it is than when you would use just a pencil, which is of course just a tiny point, and in the dry brush technique you have the hairs which are helping you fill in the space. I would recommend just diving in this little adventure. You can hear the brushes going on the paper. Didn't even refill it yet. When you will start doing this, you will soon notice how quick you get the hang of it. You get the feel of it. You can easily put in some shadow. When you think, okay, I want to get some more detail, then you can apply a little bit more oil on your brush. And then just very carefully start feeling it, looking, and then you will see, okay, this is just enough. Would you press down too hard on the hairs of your brush, then you would get nasty looking lumps of oil paint. So be very careful when you have a little bit more oil paint on your brush. Also show the head. The head is quite dark, and in this case I want to make it all filled in. Also, this is quickly done. This dry brush technique. And the body of, for instance, this moth, this butterfly, is hairy. And the dry brush technique in this case is really suitable for this. I hope you can hear the brush going, filling in. The body of the moth. apply a little bit oil paint again. The rest I will be doing in quick time, otherwise you would be watching for ages. I don't want you to get bored, so I will finish this drawing and then get back to you. I'm not going to do the complete dead head's hawk moth, like this one is called, because I wanted to demonstrate what the difference is between dry brushing and simply using a pencil. So this is the dry brush side, this is the simple pencil side, and the big difference is that the dry brush technique is more lively. And of course I can go on and on and on this side. You can also say, okay, I want to put in details, and then you can easily take the pencil and get some details in, because a pencil still is very fine tipped, so you can always use it to get some details in. That's no problem at all. But you can see the difference between this side, dry brush, it's more lively. This side, a pure pencil, which is beautiful also, but it's more flat. This makes it the kind of feel of the butterfly. It's nice to use on furs and those kinds of materials. And well, I love this bug. It's a dead head hawk moth, and I also wanted to demonstrate you can still erase parts in your oil work, it's no problem. So you can still use the eraser if you think, well, this part is too dark. You can put down your hand, it will not smudge or smear. You can touch it even. So it's a really neat technique. I wish you all the luck with it. I will demonstrate how you use and clean your brush. And for now, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. In order to clean your brushes, you use a little bit of turpentine. Just a little bit is enough. Then you take your dirty brushes and you put them in the turpentine and just stir it around. You can see the water's turning dark. When you think you have all the oil out, oil paint, you take a little bit of hand soap or dishwasher soap and put that on the hairs of the brushes, and then you smear this in. That way you get all the oil paint out of the hairs of the brushes, and you really need to clean them good, because otherwise they will be useless once the oil paint starts to dry. Then you simply take water and clean out thoroughly the soap. Then you take a little tissue and dry the hairs. Never go against the hair, always with the hair. And that's all.